Greetings everyone, Craig Hester here with the Detente Watch Group and R2A watches. Today we are talking about the Komandirsky K34 line from Vostok of Chistopol, Russia. As I always like to point out right up top, Vostok is a different company than Vostok Europe. Vostok is based in Chistopol, Russia. It is a purely Russian company, whereas Vostok Europe is based in Vilnius, Lithuania. And while Vostok Europe does still use some movements from Vostok, they are two different companies. And I always like to point that out since we are known for our distribution of Vostok Europe in North America. So today, the Komandirsky K34 lines. Okay. A couple months back, we got some Vostoks in, and they lasted about a day and sold right out. So we got some more in. We have somebody who's working for us on the ground in Moscow now. And we just brought in a new, very small batch of Vostok watches. So if you are interested, you should grab them up in a hurry. Some of the best selling and fastest selling ones from last time we brought back into stock. And now we have added 3 new Komandirsky K34s to our selection that we are offering at R2A Watches. As I always like to point out, we do tend to focus on the higher end of the Vostok line. Now I say higher end, they're still not an expensive timepiece, but you know, there are a lot of Vostoks out there that you can see for under $100, some of them for even under $50. Those are the entry-level models of Vostok. They're going to have plated brass cases, they're going to have acrylic crystals. They just don't have the components and quality that the higher end Vostoks have, and in this case the K34. The K34 is really their truly classical military line of watches, the Komandirsky. This one here, you're looking at the 2615 movement, which is their 32 jewel movement. That gives you that second hand as the sub-dial here at the 10 o'clock position. So that's more in line with the way a lot of military watches look. It does also kind of hint to that look of a cockpit instrumentation or instrumentation from a tank or so forth by having that sub-dial. And that will be the only second hand on this watch with the 2415. The other thing that the 2415 has different than some of the others is it does not have the date complication showing on the dial. Exhibition case back with that really cool decorated rotor and some nice decorations on the movement. These are 100-meter water resistant, which is still, I mean, it wasn't that many years ago 100-meter was really considered a serious dive watch. So we're talking about some very reasonable water resistance on this watch. You can swim with this watch. You can certainly get it wet under any conditions, but it is not designed to be a dive watch. It is more of a standard military watch. This one, the last digits on it are the 09. And one of the things I do like about this one too is it has that nylon covered genuine leather strap, which really is very durable and does give that such a military look and feel. Then the other model that we brought in, this is the tag is not on this one. I believe this is the 11. This is really the cleanest, simplest dial that Vostok offers in the K34. This has got the 2416 movement in it. It has the sweep second hand. One thing you will notice is it's kind of hard to see, but etched into the dial is also the 24-hour numbers right below the chapter ring of the 1 through 12. This one does have the date. I do like to point out that with and this is a pull crown, not a screw crown on these, that as with all Vostok watches, it doesn't have a quick set date. You go past midnight, then you go back, and you go back past midnight, and you'll see the date change, and you toggle back and forth in that fashion until you get to the current date. Again, exhibition case back on this one. This one also all of these K34s have deploying clasps on the leather strap, which really does help add to the length of time that the strap is going to continue to be in quality shape. One of the things that can wear out can cause a lot of wear on a leather strap is a tang buckle just by itself. Just going through the act of buckling it every day and bending it back, you don't have that with these deployant clasps. So that's a nice little touch. Very clean, simple, classic design on this Vostok K34. And then the other one we brought in, and I want to be clear, this is not a full lume dial, even though it is all white like this, although the lume on these is very, very good. This is a just Duca white on the dial. One thing that this one has different than the others, this is still a 2416, but it has the internal rotating bezel. Now this is an elapsed time internal rotating bezel, but it's important to point out that you wouldn't want to use this for diving because it's not unidirectional. And I'm not going to go into all the details of why that's important in this particular video, but again, this is intended to be more of a classical military timepiece. It is not intended to be a dive watch, even though it is 10 ATM or 100 meter, which is by no means a slouch when it comes to water resistance. It can handle most anything you can throw at it. Mineral crystal. This one does have a classic leather strap on it with the contrast stitching, again with the deployant clasp. 32 jewel automatic movement, so you shouldn't ever have to wind it. If you wear it every day, you can put it on a winder. As I always like to mention, all Vostok movements are bi-directional, which means they can wind either direction. And if you do put them on a winder and it is able to be programmed to go both directions, it is a good idea to have it alternate. That's better for the wear of the bearings on the rotor. The rotor is that piece there you see that takes up about half the window back there. That's what moves around with the movement of your wrist to wind an automatic watch. I know sometimes I take a lot of assumptions about what you may already know about watches when I talk about these in the videos, so I do try to throw some of those things in there from time to time. Anybody cares? I really like the white one. I have so many black dial watches, I tend to like white, blue, other colors. That doesn't mean that these others are not really attractive. Very traditional, quality, interesting military watch dials on both the other ones. If you like a classic military look, you can't go wrong with this. These are 42 millimeter, so not a big watch by today's standards by any means, but a very wearable size, something that you could wear anywhere. You could pretty much wear this with anything. I don't know if you would want to dress it up. Maybe some people will, but it is certainly a solid everyday wear watch. So that is the Vostok Commandeersky K34 line. 3 more models now available at R2A Watches. Get them while you can. We don't get them in very often, and when we do, they go fast. I'm Craig Hester with R2A Watches and the Detente Watch Group. Keep watching.